Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive upgrade to a system we all eventually have to deal with, the brand new, fully digital process for renewing your U.S. passport. Look, we've all been there, right? That universal dread of bureaucratic paperwork. For decades, getting a new passport meant tracking down a printer, filling out forms by hand, writing a literal check. I mean, who even has checks anymore? And trekking down to the post office. But finally, the State Department has rolled out a digital alternative. You can now do the whole thing right from your couch. So here's our roadmap for today. First, are you eligible? Then the application process itself. Third, photos, fees, and submission. And finally, what happens next? Let's jump right in. Are you eligible? Let's figure out if you actually qualify to skip that post office line. Okay, so not everyone can use this online portal just yet. It's a pretty strict checklist. First off, you've got to be 25 or older. Your current passport needs to be a standard 10-year one, meaning those childhood passports, they don't count here. Timing is absolutely crucial too. Your passport has to be expiring within the next year, or it's been expired for less than 5 years. Plus, you need to be physically in a U.S. state or territory right now. And here's a big one. You can't be traveling internationally for at least 6 weeks. They want to make sure you've got plenty of one-way before your trip. We also have to talk about the deal breakers, because these are strict. If you're changing your personal info, like your name or sex, online renewal is a no-go. You also literally must have your most recent passport in your physical possession. If you ever reported that specific book lost or stolen, you are locked out of the digital portal. This system is tailor-made for straightforward, exact match renewals. Now, what if you don't fit into that neat little digital box? Don't panic. You just fall back to the tried and true methods. You can still renew by mail with Form DS-82, or if you don't qualify for that, do the in-person thing with Form DS-11. The online system is just a shiny new convenience. It hasn't totally replaced the old ways. Section 2, the application process. You know you're eligible, so let's actually apply. If you take one thing away from this, burn this URL into your memory: travel.state.gov. When you're ready to start, this is the exact, and I mean only, digital front door you should walk through. Why am I stressing the URL? Because of the scams. The internet is absolutely crawling with unofficial third-party sites that will charge you a ridiculous markup just to pass along the exact same forms. Stick to that official .gov address to keep your data safe and your wallet happy. Account setup is a breeze. You create or log into your account to prove you're, actually you. Then you punch in the details straight from your passport: number, date of birth, all that. Finally, you confirm your contact info. But hey, a quick warning here. Please double and triple check for typos. A slipped finger on your birth date can trigger some seriously frustrating delays. Just take your time. Section 3, photos, fees, and submission. This is where it gets really interesting because you can handle the traditionally annoying parts without leaving your house. You'll need to pick the exact product for your travel plans. The standard passport book, the one you need for flying internationally, is $130. If you only want the card, which is great for driving into Canada or Mexico or taking closed-loop cruises, that's just $30. Or go for the whole shebang. Get the book and the card bundled for $160. All right, let's talk about the photo. You get to upload it electronically, but you have to play by the rules. And yes, the federal government makes this very clear. Absolutely no heavily filtered selfies. They do not want to see it. Find some good, even lighting, stand in front of a plain background, take off your sunglasses, and leave the image totally unedited. Honestly, a bad photo is the #1 reason these applications hit a brick wall. Before you smash that submit button, give everything a one last look. Check the travel info, the passport type, that unedited photo. Once you're 100% sure, you pay the fee securely right there in the portal. Make sure that payment actually processes before closing your tab, and then, boom, submit it. But wait, there is a massive catch here. The online system is for routine service only. No way around it. There's absolutely no expedited service available online. So if you just realized your passport is expired and you're flying to Rome in 3 weeks, you cannot use this. The State Department is clear. If you're in a rush, you have to use the old methods. This digital portal is strictly for the planners out there. Section 4. What happens next? You've paid, you've clicked submit. Now what? First off, let's clear up a common mix-up. Hitting submit online does not magically reactivate the old physical passport sitting in your desk drawer. Your old book is not your new passport. This system will give you specific prompts on what to do with that existing book, so just follow those instructions to a T. The tracking on the State Department portal is actually super transparent. Day 1, your status says submitted. A few days later, as they start checking your info, it flips to in process. Then, weeks later, once you're cleared, it hits approved and issued. And the final glorious step is when that fresh new passport is officially mailed out to you. Now, we need to draw a hard line between two things: processing time versus mailing time. They are completely separate. Processing time is how long the government actually takes to review your file and print the book. Mailing time, that's entirely on the Postal Service to get it from their facility to your mailbox. You've got to factor in both the government speed and the mail speed when you're counting down the days. And just like that, the bureaucratic headache is over. This digital portal is a huge shift in how we handle government paperwork, turning a weeks-long paper chase into a quick task on your laptop. So while you wait for that new 10-year passport to arrive, it kind of makes you wonder, what other frustrating government systems are finally ripe for a digital revolution? Until next time, safe travels.